I-55 on your side at 10 starts now.
A call for correction at the St. Louis City Jail.
The Justice Center let me down. The city let me down.
Tonight, the demand for answers after the latest detainee death and whether proper protocol was followed.
Building heat. The humidity is already in place to make the middle of the week dangerously hot. When the heat peaks, and what could hold it back?
Hot concert concerns.
I think I'll be so caught up in having a good time, I won't notice the heat.
How outdoor venues are helping concert goers enjoy beats while beating the heat. Right now, we're following a major backup on I-55 in Imperial. All southbound lanes are closed following a 3-car crash. Police tell us there are injuries, but it's unclear right now how many people are hurt and the extent of those injuries. MoDOT expects all lanes of the highway to reopen within the next 15 minutes. And now to our weather impact alert. The dangerous heat and humidity building, and it's here to stay. We'll be under that weather impact alert for most of the week. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. If it doesn't reach the triple digits, it will certainly feel like it. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell on how hot it's going to get, Scott.
Well, tomorrow we're holding in the 90s, lower 90s, probably to mid 90s for highs. But here's the thing. We're looking at the radar and satellite pictures tonight. We don't have what we had last night. So all of the thunderstorms tonight are out in Kansas, and they're dropping mainly to the south. So that should stay out of our problem area as we go into tomorrow, which allows us to heat back up into the mid-90s. 99 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. These numbers are nowhere near the records, but we are talking about heat index values. They go into that 105 to 110 degree range, even though high temperatures are only in the low to mid-90s. Because of all the rain we got this morning, we already have the humidity in place. There's no question about it, and we will keep it in place for the next several days. Your extreme heat warning remains in effect for the St. Louis metropolitan area, back to the west, down to the south. We've added Calhoun, Pike, Clinton, and Washington counties into the heat advisory for tomorrow. And as you go farther east, still that heat watch in effect. We'll get updated on that tomorrow morning. Bottom line is, we got to stay hydrated, take it easy, especially during the peak heating of the afternoon hours the next few days, as this is going to continue, it looks like, through most of the week, perhaps into the upcoming weekend. More on that in a few minutes, Kelly.
Just hours ago, people poured into the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater in Maryland Heights for the Wiz Khalifa and Sean Paul concert. This week, there will be 3 more concerts at the outdoor music venue. Officials say the safety of music artists and fans is top of mind during elevated temperatures. Other outdoor events this week are also expected to draw big crowds.
5 on your side's Brent Solomon is live at Busch Stadium with more on what venues are doing to try and keep everyone safe. Brent.
Well, I'll tell you what, this week the Cardinals will take on the San Diego Padres right here at home. On Friday, after the game, rapper Flo Rida will perform. And because of all of this happening outdoors in that summer heat that we're so familiar with in St. Louis, experts say have fun but be safe. Why not kick off the week with some music on a Monday?
Wiz Khalifa concert. My kids in the car, my sister. It's their first concert. We're going to have a great time.
We caught up with fans as they headed to the Hollywood Casino and Amphitheater. Brittany Lauf made sure to dress the part.
Well, it's just a spaghetti strap, and we got our water. Stay hydrated.
Good advice with the heat index reaching 110 degrees this week. The outdoor concert venue says fans are able to bring small handheld neck and misting fans as long as they have plastic or foam blades. People can also bring in cooling towels with them, as well as 2 sealed water bottles, up to 2 gallons per person. Over at the Muni, more outdoor fun with Evita playing for theater lovers. A spokesperson saying this: stay hydrated, dress in lightweight clothing, and make use of our water refilling stations and cold concessions located throughout the theater. Silent overhead fans in the theater and on our plazas, and a powerful air circulation system help keep breezes moving all night long. No matter whether you're having fun outdoors or you make a living being outside, experts say now is the time to take the heat seriously.
So especially right now, if you think about all the storms we've had in the area, we're going to have a lot of day laborers out there working on homes. You're going to have the roofers out there on those asphalt shingles. So those crew leaders out there need to ensure their folks stay hydrated, that they're taking breaks and get into the shade.
And experts say here are some things you can do to also protect yourself. Drink up, even if you're not thirsty. That will keep you hydrated. Wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing, and don't forget sunscreen. Also, after being out in the elements, there's nothing like a nice, cool shower to cool you down. We're live downtown tonight. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And if you are caught in the heat, we have a list of ways to stay cool on KSDK.com. Just text the word heat to 314-425-5355. We'll send you a link.
New demands for answers tonight on what led to the death of an inmate at the St. Louis City Justice Center just weeks before his murder trial. 5 on your side's Annie Krall has new reaction tonight from investigators and the parents of the detainee. Annie.
It's been about 48 hours since Samuel Hayes Jr. was found lifeless and strapped to a restraint chair inside these jail walls. His passing marks the 20th death here since 2020.
What happened to Samuel Lamar Hayes Jr.?
The parents of Samuel Hayes Jr. are demanding answers from city officials.
We don't know nothing. We haven't seen them yet. They ain't telling us nothing, so we just like to hear something about our son.
Hayes was found unresponsive in a restraint chair inside the St. Louis City Justice Center. The 31-year-old was pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after.
I know that the detectives are looking at every single aspect of this, from the minute that he was in that altercation to the minute he was put into the restraint chair.
Hayes, who was being held on first-degree murder charges, was restrained after a fight with another detainee. His mother, Anita Washington, said after days of silence, she finally heard from a detective around 3:30 Monday afternoon.
Justice Center let me down. The city let me down.
Washington telling us her son was alive and well when she recently talked to him with no health issues. Detectives say there were no obvious injuries or signs of trauma to his body.
Within the jail, there are lots of video cameras and videotapes, but specific to the use of a restraint chair, the city has policies that say that that person should be very closely monitored and should be videotaped.
The internal jail protocols outlined here say a medical professional had to check Hayes' health before using the restraint chair. Additionally, the shift supervisor is required to document the entire encounter on video.
Please release the videotapes and let's see what's going on with my son so we can let this case close.
Medical staff must also check in to assess the detainee's well-being every half hour according to the procedure. Whether all that was done or not will be uncovered in the investigation.
They are working to figure out who had contact with Mr. Hayes, if anyone had contact with Mr. Hayes in the 2 hours from the time he was put into the restraint chair and the time he was found unresponsive.
And Hayes' official cause of death has yet to be determined. Meanwhile, a Division Corrections Commissioner, Doug Burris, says that his department is cooperating fully with the investigation. Mayor Kara Spencer and police tell us tonight that the surveillance video in the hours surrounding Hayes' death will be released to his family. Reporting live in downtown St. Louis, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
What was supposed to be a friendly game of basketball turned into fights and fireworks at Forest Park. Cell phone video shows the moment a meetup for an influencer turned into a melee. Last night, social media influencer Cam Wilder held a park takeover tour promoted as a youth basketball event. But before he even got out of his car, fights broke out and someone set off fireworks. Police say a 15-year-old boy lit the fireworks and a 15-year-old girl was injured after she was hit by another teen's father.
These ain't no regular fireworks though. These like bombs. Like they throwing them, all you hear is boom, boom. You just get to running away because you really don't know what's going on. And all you hear is people screaming, running away. And then it was just another fight happened, and just chaos.
Wilder tells us he doesn't know who was involved. Police also say there was no permit for the event, which would have allowed for some type of security.
Just hours ago, Illinois State Representative Kevin Schmidt fielded questions and concerns at a town hall. The East St. Louis NAACP hosted the event. The Republican fielded questions from his constituents about how he plans to curb flooding in the area. The parking lot outside the town hall was flooded, and Schmidt blamed the increased risk of flooding on aging infrastructure.
The infrastructure in Cahokia Heights And East St. Louis cannot support all that rainwater when it used to be farm fields. It can't absorb it.
Schmidt called out Governor J.B. Pritzker, claiming he's held back promised funding to fix the city's infrastructure. Tomorrow, St. Louis Public Schools, the school board, will consider a proposal calling for the closure of more than half of the district's schools. According to the plan, enrollment is expected to drop by nearly 5,000 students over the next 10 years. By closing 37 of the 68 school buildings by the 2026-27 school year, the district would go from using less than 50% of space available to more than 90%. The savings would add up to about $42 million per year. Teacher union leaders fear the plan may only look good on paper.
All of those statistics and all that stuff that you saw in that report and all those different acronyms and all that, they didn't mention anything about families and kids and teachers and people that are going to work every day.
The district spokesperson declined to comment on the proposal until it's presented to the school board tomorrow. Building back brick by brick.
That's a nice solid brick.
Tonight, the effort to rebuild and restore historic buildings destroyed by the May 16th tornado.
It's just really important to salvage what we have so we can enrich our future with our history.
Plus, saved by the branch. The scary moments for a Kansas City woman caught on camera.
Monday morning storms saved us from having a miserably hot Monday. Why that isn't expected to be the case as the heat peaks midweek.
A Kansas City woman is safe tonight after clinging to a tree for nearly an hour during flash flooding. You can see here the woman is in chest-high water as she hangs on to a tree branch. Crews launched an inflatable boat to reach her. She was about 50 feet from the bank of the creek, and they were able to pull her out safely after about 40 minutes. More than 5,000 homes, businesses, and churches were damaged in St. Louis by May's tornado, and many of those buildings are made of brick.
Skyrocketing prices and demand stress the importance of preserving that history. New tonight, 5 News Side's Laura Barcheski shows us the effort to rebuild St. Louis brick by brick.
Mike and Kelly, bricks are part of the identity of the city of St. Louis. They're also the reason these homes lasted for generations of North St. Louis families. Since before the Civil War, St. Louis was known as a brick city.
If you think of the big bad wolf blowing the chimney down, you're probably picturing a red brick chimney, and those are St. Louis red bricks, basically.
We paved our streets and built our businesses and homes with iconic red bricks for hundreds of years.
St. Louis has wonderful examples of brick architecture that are still standing that you don't necessarily see in every city.
At the National Building Arts Center, they've preserved thousands of bricks.
There's about 300 and something on the easels here.
Through research, they learned there was a time when brick masons would actually make the bricks on site of the house they were building. History professor Michael Allen says this was possible because the city sits on what's called a syncline.
It's basically just a pocket of really great red clay that is in the southwest part of the city under Dogtown over toward the Grove.
Our city is the home of one of the largest brick makers, the Hydraulic Press Brick Company, which in the early 1900s was making 150 million bricks per year.
And most of the brick today is not made to be structural in the same way. It's a face brick, a veneer brick. But this brick that was made was extremely hard, dense, water resistant, and held up very well over time.
That's until an EF3 tornado with 150-mile-an-hour wind speeds knocked many of them down.
Every time I go to someone's building, I'm learning more and more how people were underinsured or not insured at all, which is disheartening.
Natalie Hughes, also known as the Brick Lady, is on the ground to help pick up the pieces.
We're handling each brick one by one, determining if it's good or bad. Some simply cleaning, some just won't handle the cleaning. We have to get rid of it. So we were able to even utilize some of the half bricks.
And right now, brick is like gold.
We've gone from paying $250 for a pallet to $500 in a blink of an eye.
The demand has gone up so much that people are trying to steal them from other destroyed homes.
And there's been an epidemic in stealing brick, most of that in the early 2000s in areas like Jeff Vanderloo and St. Louis Place and the Ville. So a little kind of overlaps with the tornado territory, but some of the areas west of Grand especially didn't really get the brick thieves until now.
The brick lady says here on Aldine Street,
it's fine. We're going to make do with what we got, Bo.
Residents have been able to protect their bricks.
Most brick walls are either 2 wide or 3 wide. That's 2 courses or 3 courses thick.
And blocks on the inside.
Depending on what it is, that wall was only 2, so I could use 4 by 8 blocks in the back.
Leaving the walls stronger than they were.
Go. Push.
To rebuild this home, they have to use a stronger mortar and will shore everything up, even if it means removing some of the older bricks.
We put a string on the wall from end to end, and in the middle, it'll show you any variations. If the wall is shifted, if it's too far out, if it's too far in.
Alan says preservation like this is important for families and for our city.
We have the chance to conserve this architecture now in our lifetime, pass it down, understand it's a treasure, and bestow it to future generations, or let it be lost. Now, realistically, a lot of things are going to have to be demolished. So it's a heartbreaking moment.
But one of the best things about brick is
it's very resilient.
Just like the people that live and work behind those carefully placed walls.
It's giving people hope and faith that they can move forward.
The city says they're still working on what they're calling a brick bank to store the bricks safely and then later get it to families who need it.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather impact alert forecast, and we have red all across the board for this week.
Be hot.
Yes.
Yeah, it is going to be hot. And those bricks, they soak in that heat and they hold it. And so that's one of the problems that we have in the city of St. Louis. Those bricks really hold that heat and keep us very warm at night in town for sure. And that's going to be the case over the next few nights. We're right around 80 degrees right now. It's not terrible outside because of this morning's rain. We did not see extreme heat this afternoon, but it's back tomorrow, we think. And the humidity has not gone anywhere. It's still here. So all this week, humidity plus that significant heat and the fact that we don't get to cool off a whole lot during the overnight hours, especially after tomorrow morning, the Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning. We're looking at temperatures right around 80, and it'll feel like 105 to 110 in the afternoon hours. Now, there could be a couple of stray thunderstorms tomorrow that pop up, but right now it doesn't look like there's anything widespread. So if you got under 1 tomorrow, you would get a little bit of relief. Otherwise, the heat index is around 105. By Wednesday, it's going a little bit higher, especially in the farm fields of Illinois, which are saturated with all that heavy rainfall we have had over the last 24 hours. There were spots with over a foot of rain out in Fayette County in Illinois, out close to Vandalia. So that means by Thursday afternoon, you have all that moisture, plus temperatures well into the 90s, close to 100. You're pushing 108, 110 degrees in some spots for the heat index. Through Friday, this is going to be a problem. The extreme heat warning continues for much of the area, including all of the metro, and that is running right now through Thursday. We've added a few counties into the heat advisory, heat watch for areas that aren't shaded just yet off to our north and east. We're still 81 degrees in St. Louis right now. All the storms tonight, outside of a couple that were down here across southeast Missouri, have really been focused out here across Kansas, but they're dropping to the south. What you see here, though, is all the moisture that's across the bi-state region. Our dew points in the 70s, and these numbers, if anything, may actually go up in the next couple of days as we see some of that evaporation occurring with the sun coming out tomorrow from all this water. 81 right now, picked up over 2 inches of rain the last 24 hours in St. Louis. Tomorrow, your hour-by-hour forecast will start out in the 70s, warming very quickly. For all those working outside, your heat index at 1 o'clock up to 103. By the time we get to the evening hours or late afternoon, heat index 105 to 107 degrees. It's really all about the heat. Could there be an isolated storm tomorrow? We can't rule it out. The next best chance and the next chance for getting a little bit more of a break might be on Friday with the potential of some showers and thunderstorms. So that's one of the things we'll watch. We'll see if those thunderstorms might come in the morning or if they hold off and come later in the day. If they come later in the day, they would be stronger. If they come early in the morning, that gives us a break from the heat to some degree on Friday.
And we're going to need a break.
Yes, we will.
All right. Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have the Cardinals in Colorado, a Stanley Cup in St. Louis, and it's hit and run time with Joe Buck. We'll be right back.
And here's a look at the program streaming and late night on 5+. You can watch for free on your Roku, Apple Fire, or Samsung TV.
It's a 3-game series for the Cardinals in Colorado. Normally, that would be like Mizzou playing Central Arkansas State Tech in football. However, after the annihilation in Arizona, you take nothing for granted. 4th inning, Wilson Contreras, 443 feet off Austin Gomber, and at this point, it's 2-1 Rockies. Same inning, Mason Wynn will lash one to left. It will score Nolan Arenado. 9 hits in 4 games. We have a 2-2 game. How about Michael McGreevy up from Memphis? Very solid tonight. 7 innings, 2 runs, and the Cardinals win it 6-2. There was baseball at Busch Stadium today. The Bank of America put on a clinic for 40 kids out of big brothers and big sisters from eastern Missouri, and the stars were out. Bernard Gilkey was teaching base running. Brian Jordan worked with the kids in hitting, and Ozzie Smith worked with the group on fielding. So it's really good to be Matthew Tkachuk. He's 27. He just got married this weekend. He already has 240 goals and 2 Stanley Cups. And just like he did last year with the Cup, he shared it with the kids at Children's Hospital. Matthew rolled into Children's again this morning in a familiar pose, cup held high like he was celebrating the win all over again. He wore his championship ring as he welcomed patients and their parents to pose with the cup and even hold his ring. The smiles were obvious. It's an event Matthew has taken to heart, learning from what he saw as a child.
We've been involved in Children's Hospital wherever I've been throughout my whole life, even going back to my dad playing. He was really heavily involved. So when I was told that my day was today, the 21st, the first thing we decided and what we wanted to do was bring it here to the Children's Hospital.
Every Monday, we try and play hit and run with a celebrity. It's rapid fire Q&A. And in St. Louis, they simply don't come any bigger than Joe Buck. With the help of photographer Tom Stasiak, we give you this week's version. We know you're good at golf and broadcasting. What are you really bad at?
Golf. Coming off last week, my patience with my 7-year-olds. My wife is screaming at the TV right now. He has no patience. I wish I had better patience.
The moment at home where you're watching a sporting event where you yelled the loudest, either as a kid or as an adult?
As an adult, easily, when the Blues won the Stanley Cup. I was at Pebble Beach in the lodge. I was getting ready to do the U.S. Open. I had the doors open because the weather was so good, and people that were down below must have thought something bad was happening in that room because I was screaming like a little child.
Quick word association. John Hamm.
Talent.
Al Rabowski.
Loving.
Stan Kroenke.
Powerful.
Wife Michelle.
All those 3 things I just said.
That's well done. What's the one moment in baseball history that you wish you were on the call for?
Probably a Gibson no-hitter that my dad called, that when I listened to the replay of, I hear his voice crack and him being emotional because of his friendship with Bob. Or Lou Brock's 3,000th hit, which I was there in Busch Stadium for, off Dennis Lamp's leg after he got knocked down. I would have liked to have called that one.
The last time I asked you this, you said that your kids were not impressed at what you do. At 7 years old, are they impressed now?
They're getting there. I mean, I have worn them down and told them nightly how great their dad is, and finally one of them is getting it. The other one wants no part of it.
Sports hero growing up?
Ozzie.
Final thought. What do you think your dad would say about Joe Buck's career right now?
There was an interview that surfaced that my dad did with John Carney, who my sister works with now at 550. It was at the end of my dad's life, and John brought up my name. And my dad said, you know, I think he's better than me, and I think he's a nice man. And Carney kind of laughed, and my dad said, would you quarrel with that? And John's like, no.
Jack was right about Joe.
Yeah, that's for sure. And what a talent.
Yeah.
Frank, thanks. Coming up, the $1 million piece of art that was a little too appealing for one visitor.
Someone has eaten the viral $6 million banana. It was exactly what it looked like, a banana taped to a wall. It sold for millions of dollars, but someone ate it earlier this month. And this is not the first time someone ate the work of art. The gallery did call police since it is perishable. The banana is replaced on a regular basis.
Scott has a final check of the weather impact forecast.
So the banana is going to spoil anyway.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
replaced on a regular basis.
But
and it's a work of art. Jinx.
But if you're hungry.
You seem skeptical.
Well, I had a couple of bananas for lunch today.
I saw you eating one.
Yeah, so we're talking here, it wasn't $1 million or $6 million either. We do have our heat. And, you know, it's summertime in St. Louis. We expect the heat. But here's the deal. The next couple of afternoons, especially Wednesday and Thursday and into Friday, we're going to have that 105, 108, 110 degrees in some spots is what it's going to feel like. You just got to stay hydrated and take it easy. And remember to check on your neighbors, especially the older folks, so they're staying safe.
I'm going to tape a banana in the newsroom to the wall. $4 million for you.
Okay, thanks.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.